You flip open a love letter you've been drafting for months today. Something falls out of it. A family photo. In the photo, there's a little girl but also a woman holding her, smiling right at you. You're confused. You've never seen this woman before. But then you notice the man standing beside her. He looks exactly like you. Same jaw, same eyes, same slightly awkward smile. You feel dizzy. You're only 22. You stepped out for 2.5 minutes. When you come back, there she is, a tiny girl. No older than 4, looking straight up at you. "Dad," she says, "I finally found you." You nearly drop your coffee. You crouch down and look her in the eye. "Little girl, are you lost?" She frowns like you've personally offended her. "Dad, what are you talking about? I don't understand." Your name is Ethan. You are 22, single, and absolutely certain you do not have a daughter. "Sweetheart," you say carefully, "I think you've got the wrong guy. Let me help you find your real dad." "But you are my dad," she insists. Her name is Lily. She crosses her arms and glares at you with full force. She throws herself into your arms. Your body goes still. Her little fists grip your shirt tight. A single tear rolls down her cheek. "Dad, don't you want Lily anymore?" Something tightens in your chest. "Baby, don't cry." You say it before you can stop yourself, because who calls a stranger baby? And just like that, she cries harder. "Dad used to call me baby all the time." She sobs into your collar. "I'm gonna tell Mom. She'll make you kneel and beg." You blink. She is terrifyingly specific. "Lily, right?" You say slowly. "I'm not your dad, but I do have a photo here that I need to show you." She snatches it out of your hand. She holds it up to your face. "You have to take the picture," she says. "It's a family photo." But your eyes drift to the woman in the background. Beautiful, familiar somehow. You've never met this woman. You're sure of it, but you feel like you have. 2 seconds pass, and then you see the man standing beside her. That jaw, those eyes, that awkward stance. It's you. Just slightly older, slightly softer. Lily watches your face. She grins. "See, Dad can't pretend now." "This photo was taken when Lily was 3 years old," she says proudly. You stare at it. You say nothing. You're beginning to understand something impossible. This child came from the future. Your future. You look at her small face, her wide eyes, and feel something pull in you, a warmth you can't explain. "Little girl," you say carefully. "What's your name?" "Lily Eleanor Evans, but everyone calls me Lily." "And your parents?" "Inanj," you ask. She stands up straight. "Dad is Ethan, Mom is Wendy." Your heart skips. When Lily says those 2 names, she beams with pride like the 2 best words in the whole English language. You look at the photo again, you finally see why the woman felt familiar. Wendy. Of course. You don't know a Wendy, not yet, but you realize you're looking at your future wife's face for the first time, so your future wife is named Wendy. You have a daughter, and said daughter has traveled from the future to find you. You need a minute to breathe. Why did Lily appear now? Is this a time travel situation? You feel slightly ill. Lily is watching you with enormous patience. "Dad, you look weird today. More handsome, but weird." She pats your cheek. "Dad, I want to find Mom. I miss her so much." You swallow hard. Okay. You're still struggling to believe it. But standing here with Lily, you feel a pull you've never felt before. Even looking at your own mother doesn't feel like this. This warmth, this recognition, it's real. "Lily," you say, "how did you get here?" She shrugs. "I don't know. 1 second I was home, then I was here." Her small hands gesture vaguely at the sidewalk. You decide not to push it. She can't explain physics. You're willing to accept this is real. The logic doesn't matter. What matters is, this little girl is hungry. The simplest step is to take personal responsibility. At this moment, Lily's stomach lets out a massive growl. She presses her hands to her belly. "Dad, Lily's been hungry for 2.5 hours. You take her home. Lily kicks off her shoes at the door and looks around your apartment. "Dad, why don't you live with Mom? Did you guys fight?" She blinks at you, waiting. You avoid the question and open the refrigerator instead. You make her simple egg noodles with whatever you have. A few minutes later, Lily lifts a bowl almost bigger than her face. She is eating like she hasn't seen food in days. You watch her, something impossibly soft settling in your chest. While she eats, you check the internet. The news, anything that might help you explain what just happened. You find nothing useful. Lily finishes her bowl and begins urging you to go find her mother, immediately. The problem is, Wendy doesn't know you exist. She won't just accept your call about being her future husband. You can't exactly say, "Hi, I'm Ethan, this is your future daughter, you're my future wife." That's insane. Lily tilts her head. Dad, did you and Mom have a fight before too? You pause. Did we fight often? She pokes her lip out. No, you and Mom are good. When you fight, Dad always gives in. Mom stays calm. Even when you fight, you'll go and apologize to Mom. She never holds grudges. You're briefly speechless. Your future marriage sounds genuinely happy, and apparently you are already a little scared of your wife, but Lily being here is real, and finding her mother is real, and that has to happen first. Think clearly. You still have the family photo. You study Wendy's face, her pure smile, her calm eyes. You want to find her. When you first saw this little girl and this photo, something in your chest was being very gently squeezed. You change into a clean shirt. Then you call your mom. Mom, I'm coming to see you. Something happened. You just borrowed money from me. Don't tell me you need more already. Her voice is immediately suspicious. Mom, that's not, I didn't just borrow. You did just borrow money. You're a bottomless pit, Ethan. Lily is right behind you, big eyes wide. Dad is talking to Grandma, she whispers, thrilled. Your mom hears it. She goes quiet. Ethan, what was that? Did I just hear a child? You stop walking. Mom, there's something I don't know how to tell you. You might be a grandmother. Dead silence. Then, what? Ethan James Evans. Who did you get pregnant? How far along? How many months? She is absolutely not calm. You realize explaining this over the phone is impossible. You head to your mother's place with Lily in tow. Your mom, Linda, opens the door, takes one look at Lily, and immediately goes pale, then flushed, then pale again. She has your nose, Linda whispers. Lily grins. Hi, Grandma? Linda's hands fly to her mouth. You sit at the kitchen table and explain everything. Slowly, the photo, the name Wendy, the time travel. Linda listens. She asks questions. She looks at Lily. She looks at you. She takes a long sip of her tea. Ethan, she says finally, I believe you. You almost fall off your chair. That was easier than expected. Because, Linda says, she has the exact same crooked pinky finger as your grandfather. It's genetic. Lily holds up her tiny pinky, sure enough slightly bent at the tip. You stare at it in wonder. So, Linda says, setting down her cup, we need to find this Wendy. Where does she go to school? She's in high school, Lily offers helpfully. Both you and Linda slowly turn to look at her. High school? You repeat. Lily nods cheerfully. Mom is 18. She's really pretty and very smart. You're 22. Your future wife is currently 18 years old. This just got complicated. Linda pats your hand. 4 years isn't so bad. Just wait until she graduates, sweetheart. Helpful. Lily tells you Wendy goes to Westbrook High. She's a senior. She loves math. She has a little sister. The details are oddly specific. Lily describes her mom the way only someone who loves a person completely can. You find yourself taking notes, not because you plan to. It just feels important to remember everything. The next day, you go to Westbrook High. You feel ridiculous standing outside a high school at your age, but Lily is holding your hand and pulling you forward, so you go. You wait by the front gates like a normal person. Students stream past. You scan every face. Lily is quiet, unusually still, eyes wide and searching. And then you see her. She comes through the school doors alone, backpack slung over one shoulder, head slightly down. Wendy. You recognize her from the photo immediately, but seeing her in person is something entirely different. She's not what you expected. Quieter, more private, the kind of beautiful that doesn't announce itself. You step forward. Your voice comes out more steady than you feel. Excuse me, are you Wendy? She stops. She looks at you. Her eyes go immediately cautious, the look of a girl who guards herself carefully. Who's asking? You hold out the photo. She stares at it. Her face does something complicated. She doesn't speak. I know this sounds crazy, you start. But this little girl says her name is Lily, and her mother is named Wendy, and Lily steps out from behind you. Mom! She cries, launching herself forward with absolute certainty. Wendy takes an instinctive step back, but she can't bring herself to actually move away from this tiny, crying child. Lily grabs her hand with both of hers. Mom! I finally found you! Mom! Why do you look so pretty today? Wendy looks at you over Lily's head, completely lost, completely overwhelmed. You give her an apologetic shrug. Mom, kiss me, okay? Lily demands. Wendy blinks. I'm not I'm not your mother, sweetheart. Yes, you are, Lily says patiently. I know because you smell exactly the same, like lavender and old books. Wendy freezes. You notice it too that she stops arguing. Like something in what Lily said landed differently. You keep a respectful distance while Lily works her magic. 25 minutes later, Wendy agrees to hear you out. You sit across from her at a coffee shop near school. Lily is between you, holding both your hands, beaming. Wendy is studying your face with sharp, careful eyes. She does look like both of us, she admits quietly. I know that saying I'm your future husband sounds completely insane, you say. I just need you to... I don't believe you, Wendy says evenly. But... She glances at Lily. I believe something happened here. Lily grabs Wendy's sleeve. Mom, can we go home? I'm tired and Dad's apartment smells like instant ramen. You start to protest. Wendy covers a smile. It's the first time she's looked anything other than guarded. She's not wrong, Wendy says. You do smell like instant ramen. You're very aware this is not a compliment. You walk to Wendy's house together, all three of you, which somehow feels both impossible and completely natural. Lily holds Wendy's hand the whole way. She also holds yours. She swings between you like a very small, very smug pendulum. Wendy's house is tidy and warm. You wait in the doorway while she checks on her little sister, younger by 3 years. Lily immediately makes herself at home. She climbs onto the sofa and turns on the TV like she's lived there before. She might have, Wendy says softly, watching her. You stand beside her. The two of you don't look at each other. So, Wendy says. What now? You think about it. I honestly don't know, you say. She nods. Fair enough. That night, you go back to your apartment alone. Wendy has agreed to meet again tomorrow. It's something. You lie on your bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about a woman you met 3 hours ago who is apparently your wife. You think about the way she held Lily's hand without meaning to, the way her face went soft when Lily smiled. You think about the crooked pinky finger, and the lavender and old books, and the family photo. You close your eyes. You don't feel afraid. You feel, strangely, like something enormous has started moving toward you, at last. The next day, you bring Lily to find Wendy at school. This time, Wendy is waiting. She already expected you. She's brought snacks for Lily. She pretends this is logistical, not emotional. You pretend not to notice. I showed the photo to my mom, Wendy says quietly. She didn't say what I expected her to say. What did she say? Wendy pauses. She looks at Lily, who is eating chips with extreme focus. She said it's real. You stand very still. Wendy says, my mother is not the kind of person who believes impossible things easily. Just a little, you say. But at least seeing her, once I believe it too. Wendy doesn't respond right away. Her thoughts are clearly a mess. You can see it on her face, the careful, intelligent girl trying to process the impossible. She keeps her composure. But she came back today, which means something in her has already decided to try. After walking Wendy home again, she stands at the gate for a long moment, Lily still holding her hand. She looks flustered and quiet, and nothing like a person who would believe tall tales. And yet, here she is. What you said is too absurd. Even as a joke, it's a lot. 25 minutes later, you're standing on her porch. You arrive with Lily in tow again. Wendy opens the door. When she sees Lily, something in her whole face softens. She steps back instinctively, but she can't make herself not reach out. Come here, you! She opens her arms. Lily runs to her immediately. Mom, I finally found you. Mom, I finally found you. Her voice is pure joy. Wendy stiffens slightly, then slowly returns the hug. I'm not your mom, she says. But she doesn't let go. Lily is holding on tight, face buried in Wendy's shoulder. She's already completely at home in those arms. Lily pulls back and beams. Mom, why are you so pretty today? Mom, give me a kiss. Wendy looks helplessly at you. Wendy catches your eye from over Lily's shoulder and just barely shakes her head. You're already backing away. Even you have to admit the resemblance is undeniable. When Wendy crouches down to Lily's level, it's obvious. Friend, Wendy says carefully, I am not your mother. Lily tilts her head. Why does nobody recognize me today? She's genuinely baffled. She turns to you for help. You offer nothing useful. You're barely holding it together. This goes on for some time. Wendy keeps insisting. Lily keeps not being convinced. The logic loops endlessly. Eventually a compromise. Lily will spend time with Wendy while you figure out a plan. This seems fair. To Lily, anyway. That afternoon, the three of you sit on Wendy's porch. Nobody says anything for a while. Lily hums to herself. She's got your energy, Wendy says quietly, nodding at Lily. I don't have that energy, you say. That's all her. No, Wendy says almost to herself. She got it from somewhere. A pause. You both watch Lily attempt to catch a butterfly. This is incredibly weird, Wendy says. Yes. You agree. The weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. Wendy looks at you. And me, she says. A long silence. Then she says, Tell me about yourself, Ethan. You tell her. Your apartment, your job at the bookstore, your failed attempt at a biology degree last semester. She listens with her arms folded, head slightly tilted the way a person listens when they're actually paying attention. A bookstore, she says. That explains the ramen. You don't make enough to eat real food. Fair point. I have a plan, you say. I'm going back to finish school. She raises an eyebrow. What changed? You look at Lily. Wendy follows your gaze. Lily is now trying to climb a tree in the front yard with deeply misplaced confidence. She told me her dad is a biologist, you say. Apparently, future me has his life together. Wendy almost smiles. It's a good motivation, she says. Lily falls out of the tree, lands fine, stands up, tries again immediately. Days begin to pass in this strange new arrangement. Lily stays with you at night. You bring her to Wendy in the morning. Wendy walks her to school, her own school, because apparently Lily has decided this is just how it works. You pick her up in the afternoon. The three of you have dinner together at your apartment, then at Wendy's, back and forth. It becomes a rhythm faster than you expected, and Wendy lets it happen, which says something. You notice small things about her. She makes tea precisely same amount of leaves, every time, exact same steep. She never leaves things half done. At school, Wendy's friends notice she's different lately, lighter somehow, more likely to laugh without warning. Her best friend Ryan corners her at lunch. Who is the guy with the kid? Ryan demands. Wendy says, it's complicated. Ryan says, obviously. This ends the conversation without answering anything. The whole school is curious. A handsome older guy brings a tiny girl to walk Wendy home every single day. Nobody can figure it out. One afternoon, you wait for Wendy outside school. Lily is bouncing on your shoulders, riding you like a horse. When Wendy comes out, she stops at the gate. She looks at the two of you, and something crosses her face. It's only there for a second. But you see it. Something that looks a lot like recognition. Or longing. She walks toward you. Lily spots her and shrieks with joy, launching herself off your shoulders directly at Wendy. Wendy catches her without even flinching, just lifts her, spins once, sets her down, like she's done it 1,000 times. You've been watching Wendy with Lily every day. She says she's not the mother. Her hands say something else, the gentleness in how she holds Lily's face to check for scratches, the way she always has snacks in her bag, the specific songs she hums when she thinks no one's listening. Lily knows every word. She mouths along silently, smiling. You don't say anything. You don't point it out. You just watch. And something in you gets very quiet. That night you go home and sit in your apartment and think about the woman who is somehow already your wife, and how you're just beginning to understand why. Your friend Jake has been suspicious for weeks. That kid is living with you? He says. Who is she? My daughter, you say. Jake stares. You stare back. From the future, you add. Jake just leaves the room. He comes back a minute later. Okay, tell me everything. You do. Jake sits in complete silence for 6 minutes. The girl who's supposedly your future wife, Jake says, is in high school right now. Correct, you say. So you're going to wait around until she's older, and then somehow make her fall in love with you. That's roughly the plan, yes. Jake rubs his face. Bro, she's already going to be the mother of your kid. That's not how time works, you say. Jake gives you a look that suggests he completely disagrees. Listen, Jake says, you clearly already like her. I could tell from the first 5 words you used to describe her. You think about how you described Wendy. Quiet, careful, smarter than she lets on, gentle with Lily. I don't know her yet, you say. Jake shrugs. You will. He says it like it's the most obvious thing alive, and somehow, hearing it said simply like that, you feel the anxiety loosen just a little. You will know her. You already know this much. She makes Lily feel safe. That's enough for now. The rest can come in its own time. You thank Jake for nothing useful and leave his apartment. You stop on the sidewalk and call your mom. Linda, how do you get someone to trust you? Who? Long pause. Is this about the girl? Long pause. Show up, Linda says, consistently. Do what you say you'll do. Don't make it complicated. You nod. Okay. And Ethan, she adds. Don't flirt. She's 18. Be patient. Be a person first. You write this down. Literally. Also, Linda says, bring the little one over on Saturday. I want to teach her how to bake. You smile. The next morning, Wendy is at the school gate when you arrive. She's already there before you. She pretends not to notice she's early. You could just text me what time, you offer. I could, she says, like this is not happening because she wanted to. Lily runs between you and takes both your hands. She swings herself off the ground with both arms. Higher, she demands. You and Wendy both comply automatically. Wendy catches herself doing it and goes very slightly pink. I'm not her mother, Wendy says quietly, mostly to herself. I know, you say. She doesn't say anything back. She swings Lily higher anyway. Lily shrieks with delight. You watch Wendy's face, and you feel something open up. You're not falling in love with the idea of her the future wife in the photo. You're falling for this, right here, right now. Weeks pass. Lily has settled into both your lives with complete confidence that this is exactly where she belongs. She updates you both regularly on future events. In the future, you two argue about who controls the TV remote, very helpful. She tells you that in the future you are the type of person who always apologizes first. Wendy looks deeply unsurprised. That tracks, Wendy says. You are offended. Wendy is smiling. She doesn't try to hide it this time. Progress. Small, but there. You note it the way you note all things that matter quietly, without fuss. One afternoon Wendy comes to your apartment for the first time. She looks around. She says nothing. Then she walks to your bookshelf and starts reading the spines. She does it the way you do methodically, left to right. You have 3 copies of the same book, she says. I forgot I already owned it. Twice. She almost laughs. That's a you thing, she says quietly. You raise an eyebrow. She catches herself. Apparently, according to Lily. Lily is in the other room, building a tower out of your textbooks. Neither of you tells her to stop. Tea? You offer. Sure, Wendy says. She sits at your small kitchen table like she sat there before. You make tea. You put in the same amount of leaves she uses. You steep it the same amount of time. You didn't plan to do that. You just noticed her method, and your hands remembered it. You set the cup in front of her. She picks it up. She drinks. She goes still for a moment. It's the right temperature, she says, softly. You say nothing. She wraps both hands around the cup and looks at you with a different expression than usual. Less guarded, more open. Something in her that she usually keeps behind a careful wall is just barely visible now. Ethan, she says, why are you so... She stops. You wait. Consider it, she finishes. Very quietly, you think about it. I don't know, you say honestly. It just seems important to pay attention to people. She looks at her cup. Most people don't, she says. I know, you say. A silence settles, warm and simple. From the other room, Lily shouts, Tower complete. A crash follows immediately. You both get up to check. Lily is fine. The books are fine. She's very proud. You and Wendy look at each other over her head and say nothing. That evening, after Wendy goes home, Lily sits on your bed and watches you do the dishes. She is thoughtful. Dad, she says, in the future, you and Mom hold hands all the time. Even when you don't notice you're doing it. You turn off the tap. You dry your hands. You think about that for a long moment. All the time? You ask. All the time, she confirms. She sounds very certain, like this is simply a fact about the world, undeniable as gravity. The next afternoon, Wendy brings her little sister Sophie along. Sophie is 15, sharp-eyed, and suspicious of everything. She looks you up and down when Wendy introduces you. You seem too nice, Sophie says. What's wrong with you? Nothing I know of, you say. Sophie narrows her eyes. Lily immediately decides she and Sophie are best friends. They run off into Wendy's backyard together. You watch them go. Wendy watches you watch them. She likes everyone immediately, Wendy says, meaning Lily. Yes, you say. Gets it from her mom, apparently. Wendy opens her mouth. Closes it. You hadn't meant to say that out loud, but you don't take it back. I don't trust easily, Wendy says carefully. I know, you say. Neither do I. A long pause. But Lily trusts completely, you say. And she chose both of us. Wendy looks at you. Says nothing. Stays. Sophie comes back with Lily on her shoulders, announcing she's Lily's favorite aunt in all of history and time. Lily confirms this with great solemnity. Wendy looks at her sister and something in her face relaxes. You stay for dinner. Wendy's mom, Helen, makes pasta. She watches you like a hawk the entire time. You compliment the pasta. Helen says, "Thank you." She continues watching you like a hawk. This is also fair. Lily is seated between you and Wendy, completely in her element. She tells Helen extensively about the future. Helen is riveted. "And does my daughter learn to cook better?" Helen asks Lily. Lily pats Wendy's hand consolingly. "Dad does most of the cooking." Wendy presses her lips together. "I cook fine, Lily." "The eggs, Mom," Lily says gently. "The eggs." You look at your plate to avoid making eye contact. Your shoulders are shaking. You refuse to laugh. Almost. After dinner, you and Wendy sit on the back porch while Lily and Sophie watch movies inside with Helen. The evening is warm. The yard smells like freshly cut grass. For a while neither of you says anything. It isn't uncomfortable. "Can I ask you something?" Wendy says. "Yes," you say. "Whatever you want." "Does it scare you?" she asks. Knowing how it turns out having the photo, knowing she's already real. You think honestly. "Not scare exactly," you say. "More like pressure. To not mess it up." She nods. "Me too," she says quietly. "I didn't ask for a photo of my future, I didn't ask to know any of this." "But you're still here," you say. She looks at her hands. "She's hard to say no to," she says. "She is," you agree. "She gets that from somewhere too." Wendy looks at you. You look at her. A breath of wind. "I'm not going to rush anything," you say. "I know," she says. "I can tell." Another long pause. "Thank you," she says. You're not entirely sure what she's thanking you for, but it feels like everything. Inside, you can hear Lily laughing at something on TV. Outside, you and Wendy sit side by side and breathe. A week later, Wendy sends you a text out of nowhere. "What are you doing Saturday?" You stare at your phone. She's never initiated before. You type and delete 3 responses. You land on, "Nothing. Why?" She sends back, "Lily keeps asking about the science museum. I thought maybe we could all go." You smile at your ceiling. You type, "That sounds great." You add, "Should I bring anything?" She sends, "Just Lily." Saturday, you arrive at the museum with Lily. Wendy is already there, holding 3 admission tickets. She bought yours in advance. You didn't ask her to. You said, "Just Lily," you point out. "I adjusted," she says. Lily grabs both your hands and runs for the dinosaur exhibit. You both follow at a half jog. This is now your life. She has an enormous amount of energy, Wendy says, slightly breathless. Constant, all day. You nod gravely. Lily has pressed her entire face against the glass of a Triceratops display and is leaving prints. Very helpful. You wipe the glass when she moves on. Wendy watches you do it, without comment. She's adding things to a list in her head. You can tell. She's been doing that since the beginning, cataloging you carefully, methodically, without hurry. You don't mind. You'd rather she see you clearly than quickly. Whatever she decides, it should be real. At the space exhibit, Lily stops in front of a model of the solar system. She's gone very quiet and serious. "Dad," she says, "in the future, you say the universe is lonely." You crouch beside her. "Do I?" She nods. "But then you say that's why people find each other, because of all that space between the stars." You go still. You look up and find Wendy looking at you from across the exhibit. She heard it. She looks away first. Later at the gift shop, Lily wants everything. You buy her a small stuffed astronaut. Wendy buys her a star map. Lily holds one in each hand, looks between you, then announces she is the luckiest kid in the solar system. Technically the universe, Wendy says. Lily considers this. Yes, she agrees. The luckiest kid in the universe. On the way out, Lily walks between you. She takes both your hands without asking, as always. This time, Wendy doesn't hesitate. She takes Lily's hand before Lily even reaches for it, like instinct, like memory. Outside, the afternoon light is going golden. Lily skips between you, swinging on your arms, singing badly. You look at Wendy over Lily's head. She's smiling, not at Lily, at the moment itself. You think, I am going to love this woman for a very long time. You already know it like you know your name. You don't say it, it isn't time, but you hold it quietly, the way you hold things that matter. Lily stops walking. She looks up at both of you. Dad, Mom, can we get ice cream? It's not, you start. Yes, Wendy says before you finish. She looks at you. It's a good day, she says simply. Ice cream seems right. You go get ice cream. Lily gets 2 scoops. She finishes it in 4 minutes and asks for a third. Wendy says no. You look away. Wendy says, "Don't you dare." You hold your hands up. You weren't going to. Mostly. Lily pouts briefly, then forgets immediately. She found a stray cat outside and is now deeply committed. You and Wendy sit on a bench and watch her attempt to befriend a cat that very clearly does not want to be befriended. "She's not going to give up," Wendy says. "No," you agree, "she gets that from somewhere too." Wendy looks at you sideways. "Are you saying I'm stubborn?" "I'm saying you're persistent," you say. "It's different." She thinks about this. "Okay," she says. "That's fair." The cat runs away. Lily is devastated for 6 seconds, then she spots a pigeon and immediately transfers all her energy to the new pursuit. You and Wendy exhale. "How does she have this much energy?" Wendy asks. "I have asked myself this every single day," you say. You laugh. Actually, properly laugh both of you, at the same moment, about the same thing. It feels good. It feels like the beginning of a private language you'll spend years building together, a laugh that belongs to just you two. Lily abandons the pigeon and comes back. She climbs onto the bench between you. "What's funny?" You say, in the best way. She accepts this. She leans back against the bench and looks at the sky. "Dad," she says, "I think I might go back soon." The words land like something dropped from a height. You and Wendy both go very still. Lily keeps looking at the sky, peaceful as anything. "I can feel it," she says. "Like a pull, like something is calling me back." She sounds much older than 4. "Will you remember this?" you ask carefully. Lily considers. "Probably not," she says. "But you will." She looks at you, then at Wendy. "That's why I came. So you'd remember. So you'd find each other. Simple as that." Wendy is very quiet beside you. You look at her. Her face is turned slightly away, but her hand finds yours on the bench. She takes it. She holds it. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't have to. Lily looks between you both and smiles the smile of someone who has done exactly what they came to do. "Okay," she says. She slides off the bench. She opens her arms. Dad first. Then Mom. You hold her so tight you're worried you'll hurt her. You don't. She's stronger than she looks. Then she goes to Wendy. Wendy kneels down and holds her for a long, long moment. Neither of them speaks. When Wendy pulls back, her eyes are bright. Lily wipes her mom's cheek with her small thumb. "Don't cry, Mom," she says cheerfully. "I'll see you in the real future." Wendy laughs despite herself. "Okay," Wendy says. "I'll be there." Lily nods. She looks satisfied. She smooths her little jacket, and then she's gone. Not dramatically, no flash of light, no thunder. She just simply isn't there anymore. You and Wendy sit on the bench for a while. The city moves around you. You're both very still. Your hand is still holding hers. She hasn't let go. Neither have you. "She's okay," Wendy says quietly, mostly to herself. "She was so okay." You nod. She really was. "She was happy," Wendy says. "She was so thoroughly happy. That means we—" She stops herself. "It means we do something right," you say. Wendy looks at you. "Something right," she echoes softly. She looks at your joined hands. She doesn't move hers. The late sun stretches long and warm across the sidewalk. "I'm going to miss her," Wendy says. "Me too," you say. Already. A pause. "She knew that," she says. "She planned it that way," you say. "Absolutely she did." Wendy smiles. 4 years old. "Going on 40, you agree." She laughs again, that same laugh. "Yours." You stay on the bench until the street lights come on. Then she squeezes your hand once and stands. You walk her home together, slowly, not rushing. The city is easy and ordinary around you. At her gate, she turns to face you. "I don't know how to do this," she says honestly. "Know how to do what?" you ask. "Any of this," she says. "Whatever this is, between us." "Me neither," you say. "But I think that's okay." She looks at you for a long moment. "Yeah," she says. "Maybe. Can I call you tomorrow?" you ask. She thinks about it. Then, "Yes." Just that. "Yes." She goes inside. You stand at the gate for a moment, looking at her front door, feeling something settle into place. You walk home. The night is clear. You feel quietly, entirely, and specifically hopeful. You call her the next morning. She picks up on the second ring. "Hi," you say. "Hi," she says back. You both pause. Then, "Good. That's it. That's the whole conversation starter, but it's enough. You talk for an hour without planning to. Weeks pass, you call each other, you meet for lunch near her school, you do not call it dating, it just happens. One afternoon she's waiting at the library when you arrive. She has a book open and is pretending not to have been watching the door. You sit across from her. She slides a cup of tea toward you, already made, right temperature, right amount of leaves. I noticed, she says simply, before you can comment. You pick up the cup. You don't say anything. You don't need to. You study together. She's good at math, very good. You help her with biology. She helps you with everything else. Why did you quit your biology degree? She asks. You look at the table. Got overwhelmed. Got lost. And now, she asks. You think about Lily's voice saying Dad is a biologist. Now I have a reason, you say. She looks at you steadily. Good, she says. She goes back to her math. You go back to your biology. The library is warm and quiet around you. This is, you think, exactly what studying was supposed to feel like. After an hour, she rests her chin on her hand. Can I ask you something? She says. Yes, you say. Did you choose to like me? She asks. Or is it because of the photo? Because of Lily? You put your pen down. You think carefully. The photo told me you exist, you say. That's all. The rest is you, you say. The way you are with people, the way you pay attention, the way you made that tea. She's quiet for a moment. She looks down at her book. Okay, she says. Her voice is very soft. Okay. Neither of you says anything else for a while, but something has shifted, clearly, permanently, for the better. Your mom Linda calls that evening, completely unprompted. How's the girl? Fine, you say. Good. Getting better. Better how? She says. Better like a person you're getting to know. Long pause. Oh, Linda says. That better. Good. Mom. I'm just saying. Mom. I'm saying nothing. She's saying a great deal. You let her. She's earned it. Bring her to dinner sometime, Linda says. When she's ready. I'll ask her, you say. A pause. She'll say yes, Linda says. You don't know that. Ethan, baby, I have already texted her, and she already said yes. You stare at the ceiling. Mom, when did you get her number? From Lily, obviously. You close your eyes. Your 4-year-old daughter from the future has been facilitating your relationship. You're fine. Dinner at Linda's is warm and relaxed in a way you didn't quite expect. Wendy brings dessert. Linda beams. You baked this yourself? Linda asks. My mom's recipe, Wendy says. Linda immediately wants it. Wendy writes it out from memory on a piece of notebook paper. Linda handles it like it's something precious. It sort of is. After dinner, Wendy helps clear the table without asking. Linda watches her from the kitchen door with an expression of pure approval. Later, when Wendy is on the porch and you're doing dishes, Linda appears beside you and whispers, Don't mess this up. I know, Mom. She's the real thing, Ethan. I know, Mom. Don't be a fool. Mom. She pats your shoulder and goes to join Wendy on the porch. You listen to them talking through the kitchen window. Wendy's laughing at something, Linda said, full and unguarded, nothing held back. That laugh. You put down the dish. You just stand there for a moment with your soapy hands. Your mom and your future wife are laughing on the porch, and it sounds exactly like something from a photo you've already seen. You dry your hands. You go join them. It doesn't feel strange at all. It feels like arriving. Fall semester begins. You re-enroll in biology. You and Wendy begin meeting at the library 3 times a week. She counts. So do you. She's applying to college early decision at a school 2 hours away. She mentions it carefully, watching your face. It's a great school, you say. It is, she says. She's still watching your face. You should go, you say. 2 hours isn't far, you say. She relaxes slightly. No, she agrees. It isn't. You both look at your books. We'd figure it out, you say. Not a question. We'd figure it out, she confirms. Also, not a question. You go back to studying. Under the table, your knee bumps hers. She doesn't move hers away. This is progress. You note it the same way you note all things quietly, without making it a bigger deal than it needs to be. But it is a big deal. Every small thing is a big deal. You've decided to pay attention, and this is what attention costs you. You miss Lily. You don't talk about it every day, but some days, you and Wendy will say something at the same time, something Lily would have said, something she would have done, and you'll catch each other and go quiet and smile. She's still there, somehow, in the space between you. A reason you started. And now you have your own reasons. Your own reasons are the way she argues about history, the way she holds her pen, the way she says your name. She says it differently than anyone else, like it's a full sentence by itself. Ethan, like it means something specific. You don't tell her this. You just think it, sitting across from her, trying to focus on cellular respiration diagrams. She looks up and catches you not studying. She gives you a look. You go back to your notes, almost immediately. This is also your life now. And you wouldn't change a single quiet, ordinary, completely necessary part of it. Jake asks you how things are going. Good, you say. Good like you want to ask her out, or good like you did? We're taking it slow, you say. Jake rolls his eyes, at a volume you can almost hear. Ethan, you have her future daughter. Ask her out. It's not that simple, you say. It's exactly that simple, Jake says. You consider this. He's not wrong. The next time you see Wendy, you say, I want to take you to dinner. Not lunch, not study. Dinner. She looks at you. She takes a breath. Okay, she says. Dinner. That's all. That's everything. You pick her up on a Friday. She's wearing something she obviously thought about, which makes your heart hurt pleasantly. You look nice, you say. She says, you too. You both stand on her porch for one unnecessary second. We should go, she says. Yes, you say. You don't move for another second. She almost smiles. Dinner is at a small Italian place you chose carefully quiet, not flashy, good food, candles that don't feel performative. She relaxes as soon as she sits down. Good choice. You were hoping for that. You'd thought about it for 2 days. The conversation starts about school, then about her college application, then about something she read last week, then about her dad, who she misses, then about yours, who you never knew well enough, then about what matters. She tells you things she doesn't usually tell people. She mentions it, surprised at herself. I don't usually say this. Why are you saying it? You ask. She thinks. Because you actually listen, she says. Not to respond, she adds. Just to hear it. You think about that. That's just paying attention, you say. Most people don't, she says again. The same thing she said on the porch, weeks ago. You remember everything she says. I know, you say again. A pause. She's quiet for a moment. Then, I like that you listen, she says. Quietly. Directly. You sit with that. You don't rush to fill the space. She told you something real. You let it matter. After dessert, she leans back in her chair. This was good, she says. Really good. You agree. Can we do it again? You ask. She tilts her head like she's deciding, but her eyes have already decided. Yes, she says. Same place? Different place, you say. I want to show you more things. She nods. Okay. You walk to the car. She doesn't reach for your hand. You don't reach for hers. But you walk close enough. The city is bright and easy around you on a Friday night. Everything feels clear. Everything feels like it's been worth waiting for. You drive her home. She says goodnight at the gate. You say goodnight. She walks up the path, turns at the door. Hey, Ethan, she says. You look up. Thanks for dinner. And for being... She stops. She finds the word. Patient. Always, you say. She smiles full and unguarded, the same smile she has in the photo. That one. Yours. She goes inside. You sit in the car for a moment with your hands on the wheel and an absolutely ridiculous grin. Then you drive home, and the whole way you think about the next dinner, and the one after that. One morning, her sister Sophie calls you. Wendy pretends she doesn't care. But she does, Sophie says. She checked her phone 4 times in the last hour waiting for you to text. You say nothing. Just thought you should know. You text Wendy immediately. Good morning. She texts back in 20 seconds. Good morning? Then, what time? You smile at your phone for an embarrassing amount of time. 2 o'clock, you text. Fine, she says. I'll be ready. You arrive at 1:55. She's outside already, sitting on the porch steps with a book, pretending not to look for you. She closes the book when she sees your car. She doesn't admit she was early. You don't mention it. You take her to a bookstore. A proper old one with wooden shelves and that specific smell she apparently inherited and passed to Lily. She walks in and stops. She turns slowly. She looks around like someone who has just been handed something they always needed. You knew, she says quietly. Lily mentioned you like old bookstores. She looks at you. You remembered that? I remember everything, you say. You spend 2 hours there. She finds 3 books. You find two that you immediately give to her. These are for you, you say. She looks at them. You haven't even read them, she says. I'll borrow them after. She tucks the books under her arm. You're a strange person, she says. In a good way. The best way, hopefully, you say. She thinks about it. Yes, she says. The best way. Outside the bookstore, she takes your hand, not dramatically, just naturally, like she's been meaning to. You walk down the street holding hands in the afternoon sun. Neither of you says anything about it, you just walk. Wendy's neighbor spots you from across the street, an older woman named Diane who's known Wendy since she was little. Diane waves and narrows her eyes pleasantly at you. Wendy waves back. She doesn't explain you. She's going to have questions, Wendy says once Diane is out of earshot. People usually do, you say. What do I tell them? She asks. You think about it. Whatever you want your UI my near say. Your whatever feels true. She considers this. He's someone important, she says, trying it out. Does that feel true? Yes, she says. You squeeze her hand. She squeezes yours back. You keep walking. The afternoon is long and good. Sophie sends you a thumbs-up text an hour later. She came home smiling, it says. Whatever you did, keep doing it. You text back, working on it. Sophie replies, good. She deserves someone who works at it. You put your phone down and think about that for a while. She does. She deserves someone who works at it. You are going to be that person. You already knew it. But it's good to have it said out loud by someone who knows her. A month later her college acceptance comes in. She calls you at 7 in the morning, voice slightly unsteady. I got in, she says. You close your eyes. Wendy, you say. That's incredible. A pause. I know, she says. She sounds overwhelmed in the best way possible, like someone who worked hard and then got to see it matter. We're celebrating, you say. Tonight. Don't argue. I'm not arguing, she says. I was about to say the same thing. You celebrate at the Italian place. Same booth. She's already there when you arrive, already glowing. You're early, you say. I was excited, she says. She says it plainly, no pretending. Just, I was excited, that openness, that willingness to just say the thing you love it about her. You're starting to love a lot of things about her. You order the same food as last time. You realize it only after the waiter leaves. We ordered the same things, Wendy says. I know, you say. She rests her chin in her hand. Do you think Lily knew we'd be like this? She asks. She knew, you say. She very much knew. She was extremely smug about it. Wendy laughs. She gets that from somewhere, you say. Wendy narrows her eyes. Don't, she says. You grin. I'm not saying anything. The food comes. You eat slowly. The conversation wanders from her plans for college to yours, to the future you're both building. Not the photo future. Not Lily's future. Your future. The one you're choosing right now, at this table, in this city. I want to study environmental science, she says. At least that's the plan today. Today is enough, you say. She nods. Today is enough. After dinner, you walk along the river. The lights from the bridge reflect in the water below. Wendy stops at the railing and leans against it. She looks at the water, not at you, but she's talking to you. I was scared of this, she says. Of what? You ask. Of caring this much, she says. About something I didn't plan. You lean against the railing beside her. I know, you say. Me too. She looks at you sideways. You weren't scared, she says. You seem so certain. I was terrified, you say. I just didn't let it stop me. She's quiet for a moment. That's the difference, she says slowly. Between scared and brave. You're braver than you think, you say. She turns to look at the water. Tell that to my hands, she says. She holds one up. It's perfectly steady. She looks at it. Huh, she says. Maybe. You both laugh. Out here by the river, under the bridge lights, laughing about steady hands and river water, you feel it fully. You love her. You are in love with her. It's been building for months and now it simply is. You don't say it tonight. It isn't the moment, but it's there. Solid and real, and utterly certain. She reaches over and takes your hand. She just does it. Calmly, completely, no fanfare. She looks at the river. You look at the river. You hold her hand. She holds yours. I'm glad Lily came, she says finally. Me too, you say. Even though it was completely insane. Completely, she agrees. A beat. Also kind of perfect. Kind of, you say. Completely perfect, she corrects herself. You stand there by the river until the cold comes in, then walk back through the city, hand in hand, unhurried. You are building the future, not from a photo, not from a plan, from every single step you take together. That's how it works. Not destiny. Choice. You choose her, she chooses you, again and again, starting here, starting now, starting with a small girl in a blue jacket who called you dad, and you listened, and you showed up, and that, more than any photo, is why it works. Winter comes. Wendy is in the thick of senior year. You pick up extra shifts at the bookstore. Things are good. You have dinner with her family on Sundays now. Helen, Sophie, and you and Wendy crowded into the small kitchen together. Helen has decided you're acceptable. Sophie has decided you're genuinely good. These are the only reviews that matter. You help with dishes. Sophie argues with you about movies. Helen tells you family stories. Wendy watches from across the table. Sometimes you catch her looking at you that way, the way she looked at you the first time Lily said your name. Like you're something she wasn't expecting, like she's still surprised, in the best possible way. You feel the same about her. Every week something new. A reaction you didn't expect. A laugh you hadn't heard. The way she frowns when she's reading. The way she hums quietly when she makes coffee. Small and infinite. You're staring again. She tells you one Sunday evening. I know, you say. You do it a lot. She says. I know, you say. She doesn't tell you to stop. She goes back to her book. You go back to watching her, with complete lack of shame. Jake says you're completely gone. He says it fondly. Linda says it's about time. She says it repeatedly. You agree with both of them. You are completely gone. You are the happiest you have ever been. These things are related. January. Wendy's last semester before college. She's organized, calm, doing everything ahead of schedule. You, meanwhile, are relearning calculus from scratch for a class you need for biology. She tutors you without complaint. You're better at this than you think, she says. You say that because you're kind, you say. I say it because it's true. She taps your notebook with her pen. Try this one. You try it. You get it mostly right. See, she says. You tutored me, you say. You tutored yourself, she says. I just asked the right questions. That's Wendy. Everything about her is like that. She doesn't take credit for what you do. She just opens the door. You study together for 3 hours. You get through it. At the end, you both sit back in your chairs and breathe. We make a good team, you say. She's quiet for a second. Yes, she says. We do. She says it like she means it entirely. She saves the photos from the day to an album on her phone. She names it something you won't see until later. Later that week, she texts you a photo you and her at the library, laughing at something. You're not looking at the camera, you're looking at her. You're looking at her in the photo the way you know you look at her in real life. She doesn't caption it, she just sends it. You save it immediately. You make it your wallpaper. She notices when you show her your phone later. She says nothing. She just smiles into her tea. You both pretend this is normal. It is. It's yours. February. Your mom and Wendy's mom, Helen, have now met twice for coffee. This was not your idea. Linda texts you. Helen is wonderful. We are already friends. You're welcome. You were not aware you needed to be thanked. You tell Wendy. She says, I know. My mom told me. She also said Ethan's mom is, quote, a delight. You sit with that. Our moms are becoming friends, you say. Yes, Wendy says, amused. Apparently so. Is that okay? You ask. She thinks for a second. More than okay, she says. It feels right. It does. Things are weaving together in ways that feel natural. Families connecting, lives crossing, a future assembling itself. Not from a photograph, from 1,000 small decisions, from showing up, from tea at the right temperature, from a 4-year-old who crossed time to hold your hands and swing herself between two people who were already meant to find each other, from a family photo that fell out of a love letter on the one day that changed everything, from you, Ethan, and from Wendy, who was worth every awkward first word, every patient afternoon, every careful cup of tea. You're sitting at the kitchen table when you decide, not a big moment, not a grand scene, just a Tuesday. Wendy is across from you, doing homework. The lamp is on. The room is warm. You look at her face, and you think, I am going to tell her I love her tonight, not because it's planned, because it's true, and it's time. She looks up, catches you looking. What? She says. Nothing. You say, console somebody, tell me you stay. We're staying up under the sky, so that you take a breath. I love you. You say it the way you do everything that matters simply, clearly. She goes still, her pen stops. She looks at you, a long moment. You don't look away. Ethan, she says. You wait. She puts down her pen. She folds her hands on the table and looks at you directly. I love you too, she says, like it's been waiting. like it was always just one breath away from being said. You look at each other across the table in the lamplight, no music, no dramatic moment, just the two of you, just truth, finally said out loud, warm and ordinary and completely extraordinary at the same time. You reach across the table, she meets you halfway, your hands hold in the middle, right there, right then. Finally, you say, I've been thinking it for months. Me too, she says. Longer maybe, she adds quietly. You smile. She smiles. It's a little ridiculous, two people smiling at each other over homework. You don't care. Lily would be very smug right now if she could see you. She always said you'd figure it out. She was right, as usual. She knew, Wendy says, reading your face. She absolutely knew, you say. The whole time. Wendy laughs. 4 years old and smarter than both of us. Combined, you agree. Definitely combined. You keep holding hands across the table. You both go back to studying. Nothing changes, and everything changes. The lamp is warm. The room is quiet. Outside, the winter city does what it does. In here, you are home. Not the apartment, not the table, her. Being with her is home. You've known it for a while. Now it's said. Spring comes back around. Senior year ends. Wendy graduates on a bright Saturday in May. You and Linda, and Helen, and Sophie are all in the bleachers. You hold a sign that says her name in letters too big for the sign. Sophie made it. She made it enormous on purpose. Wendy sees it from the field and covers her face with her diploma. She's laughing when she comes off the field. She's beautiful and embarrassed and completely yours. The sign, she says, looking at you. Sophie, you say. You held it, she says. Very proudly, you say. She shakes her head, but she's smiling. She's smiling in that way she reserves the fully open one, nothing held back. You did that. You and Sophie. Linda cries. Helen cries. Sophie denies crying. You take approximately 40 photographs. Afterward, everyone goes to Helen's house for dinner. The yard is strung with lights. The table is full. You sit beside Wendy. She leans against your shoulder for a moment while everyone talks around you. Good day, she says softly. Best day, you say. She straightens up, but her hand stays in yours under the table. The night goes warm and long. The lights in the yard shine. Linda and Helen have moved on from friendship to what appears to be a book club. Sophie has given a toast that somehow moved everyone to tears and then ruined it immediately by dunking a chip in her water. Very Sophie, you are happy. You are fully, uncomplicated, deeply happy. You look around the table at these people, and you feel it completely. Wendy's hand in yours, her mom's laugh across the table, Linda telling a story about you that is only slightly embarrassing. This is the future you're building. This is what's real. Lily brought you here. But you built the rest yourself. That's the thing about starting. You just have to start. Everything after that is just showing up, day after day, and meaning it. Summer. Wendy leaves for college in August. You drive her. She packs light and still fills the whole car. The drive is 2 hours. You talk the whole way about nothing music, gas station snacks, whether dogs can tell time. Then about important things, her plans, your plans. The way 2 hours isn't far and you'll visit every third weekend. You help her carry boxes to her dorm room. You put her bookshelf together wrong. She fixes it. You let her. Her roommate introduces herself. She's friendly, studying law. She looks at you and says, "Are you the guy from the texts?" Wendy goes slightly pink. "Shut up, Grace," she says. You extend your hand. "I'm the guy from the texts," you confirm. Grace shakes your hand with the enthusiasm of someone who has heard a great deal about you. "She wasn't wrong," Grace says. Wendy disappears into the hallway with a box. You help Grace hang a poster and decide she's going to be fine. When it's time to go, you walk Wendy to the parking lot. The September afternoon is warm. The campus is loud and new. She stands at the edge of the lot. "It's just 2 hours," she says, more to herself than you. 2 hours, you agree. Not far. She steps forward and hugs you. Not a quick hug. A long one. The kind that says more than words. You hold her. She smells like old books and the particular dryer sheet she uses that you would now recognize anywhere. "I'll call you tonight," she says into your shoulder. "I'll answer on the first ring," you say. She laughs softly. She steps back. She looks at you. "You're going to be okay," she says. "You too," you say. "We're both going to be okay," she says. "Better than okay," you say. She nods. "Better than okay." She walks back toward the dorms. She turns at the door. She waves once. You wave back. She goes inside. You drive home. You call Linda from the road. "She okay?" Linda asks. "More than okay," you say. Linda says, "Good, now come over, I made food." You go to Linda's. You eat. You feel the 2 hours. Fine. She calls at 9, you talk until midnight. About her roommate, her first class, the dining hall, about how the campus is beautiful and slightly overwhelming, about how she already misses the bookstore. I'll send you books, you say. You don't have to, she says. I know, you say. I want to. A pause. Okay, she says. Send them. You talk until she yawns 3 times in a row. Go to sleep, you say. Okay, she says. Ethan? Yeah? I love you. You're quiet for a second, not because you didn't expect it, because it still hits the same. I love you too, you say. Good night, Wendy? Good night, she says. You listen until the line goes quiet. You sit in the dark for a while after, not sad, just full of something you don't have a word for. Grateful maybe, or maybe just awake, more awake than you've ever been in your life. You think about a girl in a blue jacket who called you Dad on a sidewalk on a completely ordinary afternoon. You think about a photo that changed the direction of everything. You think about what it means to be found before you know you're looking. You go to bed. You sleep well. Tomorrow, the week starts again. Classes, bookstore shifts, everything building, and every third weekend 2 hours north, someone who loves you is studying and sleeping and waving from a doorway. You visit the third weekend, she shows you the campus, she walks you to every spot she's already claimed as hers. This bench, she says, faces east, so it's warm in the morning. This path smells like pine. This building has the best light. She has already mapped the entire place by what she loves about it. You follow her, watching her, noting all of it. You're doing it again, she says. What? Memorizing me. Yes, you say, without apology. She accepts this now. You have lunch at a cafe near campus. You sit across from each other the way you always have. Easily. Completely. Grace says I talk about you too much, Wendy says. What does Grace say you say? You ask. She looks at her sandwich. That you listen, she says finally. That you're patient. That you make tea the right way. You think about the first cup. You taught me, you say. She looks at you. You paid attention, she says. Same thing, you say. Not the same thing. Better than the same thing, you say. She smiles. Yes, she says. Better. By October it's a rhythm. Library calls on weeknights, visits every third weekend, texts throughout the day. Easy, you're back in biology now, really back engaged, interested, understanding why it matters. Lily was right. You tell your professor you took a break and came back. He asks what changed. You say, I found a reason. You don't explain. He nods like he understands anyway. Maybe professors always understand things like that. Your grades are good. Jake says you're annoyingly motivated. Linda says it's because you're happy. Both are correct. Wendy calls on a Tuesday, which isn't a scheduled call day. I just wanted to hear your voice, she says. No reason. You smile at the kitchen ceiling. Then I'm here, you say. Good, she says. You talk for 40 minutes about nothing. It's one of your favorite conversations. Nothing in it, everything in it. That particular variety of being in love. Winter visits. She comes home for the holidays. First night back, you sit with her in the kitchen at her mom's house. She makes tea. You watch. She does it the same every time, same leaves, same time, same careful way of measuring warmth. She sets a cup in front of you. You pick it up. Right temperature. It's always the right temperature. You say nothing. She sits across from you. The house is quiet. Everyone else is asleep. Just you and her and the lamp. I miss this, she says. Not the tea, not the kitchen. This, you. Me too, you say. You sit there for a long time, not talking, not needing to, just being in the same room, which is its own complete thing. This is yours. All of it is yours. The holidays are warm and full of people and food and the particular loud happiness of families who love each other. Your family and her family now overlap so much there's barely a seam between them. Linda and Helen are inseparable. Sophie and Jake have apparently also become friends, which no one sanctioned, and both of them are too pleased about it. You look around the room on Christmas Eve, your mom, her sister, your best friend, her. You think this is what Lily came from, this room, these people, this warmth. Of course she was happy. Wendy appears beside you with 2 glasses. She looks at the room, then at you. What are you thinking? She asks. About Lily, you say honestly. She nods. She looks around the room. She's in here somewhere, she says. In all of it. You agree. You clink your glasses together. You drink. The room is warm. The tree lights glow. We're doing it right, Wendy says softly. It isn't a question. Yes, you say. We are. You will keep doing it right. Every day. Not because you saw the future, but because you chose to build it. with patience and tea and library afternoons and a bench that faces east and hands held under tables. And somewhere, in the future you're making, a little girl in a blue jacket is already laughing, already exactly where she's supposed to be. You and Wendy will get there, you already know it, not from a photo this time, from everything you've already done. New year, January. She goes back to school, you walk her to the car in the cold morning air. She hugs you at the door, long, warm, smelling like home. Same plan? She says. Same plan, you say. Third weekend. Call me when you get there, you say. I always do, she says. She opens the car door. She stops, turns. Ethan. Yeah? She smiles, the real one, the open one, that specific one. Thank you, she says, for all of it, the whole stupid impossible thing. You laugh. Thank Lily, you say. I'm thanking you, she says, for showing up, for being the kind of person who showed up. You go quiet. Always, you say. She nods like she believes you, because she does. Always, she echoes. And gets in the car. You watch her drive away. The street is cold and quiet. You stand there until the car turns and disappears. Then you go back inside and make coffee. And then you go back to becoming the person she described. The kind who shows up, the kind who listens, the kind whose daughter years from now will cross time just to find him. It's a good thing to be, it's the best thing. You work at it every single day, that's the whole secret. Spring semester, you're studying late on a Wednesday when your phone rings. It's Wendy, she sounds happy. I got a summer internship, she says. Environmental work, north of the city. 2 months, she sounds bright with it. That's incredible, you say. It's unpaid, she says. It's still incredible, you say. She laughs. Yeah, it is. Can you come up and visit? She asks. It's only an hour further north. Obviously yes, you say, every weekend. You don't have to every weekend, she says. Watch me, you say. She's quiet for a second. Okay, she says. Watch you. You spend 2 months driving an hour north on Fridays. You bring sandwiches. She brings field notes. You eat outside by the lake. She shows you what she's working on, mapping wetland health, tracking species patterns, drawing conclusions about what thrives. You understand more of it than you expected. She's delighted by this. You're delighted by her being delighted. One afternoon by the lake, she has her notes spread across the blanket and she's explaining something in animated detail. You're not listening to the words. You're watching her face. She's so alive in this, so completely herself. You think, I want to watch her be this alive for the rest of my life. It's a quiet, enormous thought. She looks up. You stopped listening. I was looking, you say. There's a difference, she says. Yes, you say. There is. She looks at you for a moment. Then she looks at the lake. What were you thinking? She asks. The rest of my life, you say. She's very still. Say that again, she says quietly. I want to watch you be like this for the rest of my life, you say. She turns back from the lake. She looks at you directly. Her expression is open and real and not trying to be anything else. Okay, she says, softly. Okay. The lake is silver in the afternoon light. The grass is warm. You reach over and take her hand. She takes it back. You sit by the water, and the world does what it does around you. This isn't a proposal. It isn't meant to be. It's something simpler and just as permanent. A direction, chosen. That's how you live the rest of that summer, in the direction of each other. Everything else arranged around that. Mornings, you drive north. You bring good coffee and bad jokes. She provides the view, and the field notes, and that laugh. Evenings, you drive back. You call her from the car. You talk until she falls asleep. You listen to her breathe for a second. Then you hang up and drive home through the dark feeling like the luckiest person in 2 lifetimes. Yours and Lily's. Fall comes. 2nd year of college for her. 3rd year of your biology degree. You're nearly there. Jake tells you that you have become unreasonably competent. You take this as the highest possible compliment. You've been working, not just at school, at being the version of yourself that deserves the life you're building. Some days it's easy. Some days it takes everything. Both kinds of days are pointing in the same direction. Wendy tells you something late one night on the phone. You're different than when I met you. You consider that. Different how? You ask. She thinks. More solid, she says. Like you know where you're standing. You nod slowly. I do, you say. Here, you say. I'm standing here. She's quiet for a moment. Good, she says. Don't move. Not going anywhere, you say. A year passes. Then another. The way years pass when you're building something fast and full. You finish your degree. Linda cries at graduation. Helen cries. Wendy sits in the audience and claps so loud. Afterward, she hands you a small envelope. Inside, a card with her handwriting. I knew you'd get here. Love, W. You keep the card. You keep everything she gives you. You are, as it turns out, exactly the kind of person who keeps things. She graduates the following spring. You're in the front row. You have a sign. Sophie helped. It is, again, very large. Wendy sees it from the field and shakes her head with a smile you can see from 50 yards away. That smile. Still yours. After the ceremony, she finds you in the crowd. She walks straight to you through a sea of caps and gowns. You hold out your arms. She comes directly into them. This is also your life. This specific moment, and all the ones like it. We made it, she says, into your shoulder. We made it, you say. Now what? Now everything, she says. Now everything. You think about a photo in a love letter. You think about a small girl with a crooked pinky finger. You think about tea at the right temperature, about a bench facing east, about the rest of your life said out loud. Now everything. You hold Wendy in the middle of the crowd and you know that now everything means exactly what it says. Every day, forward. Every choice made together. Every kitchen and bookshelf and Sunday dinner and first ring phone call, every cup of tea, every quiet room, every moment where you look at her and think, yes, still, always. She steps back and looks at you. I have something to tell you, she says. Tell me, you say. She takes a breath. I found an apartment, she says, in the city, near your lab. You look at her. Our lab, you say. You have a job offer, same city, same field. You haven't told her yet. You got the position? She says. I got it, you say. She stares at you. Then she laughs wide open, completely surprised. You were going to tell me, and I just... You went first, you say. We're moving to the same city, she says. Yes, you say. Did you know I found the apartment? No. Did I know you got the position? No. She shakes her head slowly. Lily, she says. 100%, you say. She is so smug right now. You both laugh. In the middle of the graduation crowd, laughing about your 4-year-old daughter from the future. Completely normal, completely yours, the best kind of life. Let's go home, Wendy says. Home. You follow her, always. The apartment is small and bright and on the 3rd floor. Big windows, good light, an excellent bookshelf wall. Wendy stands in the middle of the empty room. It needs rugs, she says, and more books, you say. Obviously. Moving day. Jake carries boxes with great enthusiasm and very little technique. Sophie tells him how to hold things. Linda brings food. Helen brings more food. There is too much food and everybody is fine with this. By evening, the apartment is full of furniture and the people you love most, eating on the floor. Wendy sits beside you, back against the wall, plate in hand, looking around the room with soft, satisfied eyes. This is good, she says. Yes, you say. She leans her head against your shoulder. You stay still. The room is warm. The people are loud. Linda is telling a story. Helen is correcting her. Sophie is laughing. Jake is gesturing at something and nearly knocking over a lamp. This is your family. It grew from a photo and a small girl. And now it's this. 8 people on moving day floors, being loud about things that don't matter, and staying for everything. That's the point. That's the whole point. Years later, on a Tuesday, that looks like any Tuesday, you wake up early and make breakfast before Wendy's meeting. She comes into the kitchen in yesterday's sweater, hair not yet brushed, already going through her notes. You hand her tea, right temperature. She takes it without looking up. Thank you, she says. First words of the day. She drinks it at the counter. You make eggs. The apartment is quiet in the particular way of early mornings. Ready for today? You ask. She closes her notes. Getting there, she says. She looks at you. You? Always, you say. She smiles that one, the open one. Even now, years in, that smile still does exactly what it does. She comes over and puts her arms around you from behind. She rests her chin on your shoulder. You keep making eggs. Hey, she says. Hey, you say back. A pause. I love you, she says. Just like that. Tuesday morning. Tea and eggs. I love you too, you say. You say it the same way every time, like it means more each time, because it does. She lets go. She takes her plate to the table. You join her. The morning light comes in through the big windows. You eat. You talk about the day your lab meeting, her presentation, what to make for dinner, small and complete. This is it. This is what you built. Not from a photo. From every morning, every ordinary perfect morning, and somewhere in the back of your mind, you know because you know that a small girl is already on her way, not yet, but coming, with her crooked pinky finger and her enormous energy and her absolute certainty that you're hers. And you will be. Completely, without question, you already are. You've been hers since the first afternoon she called you Dad. Wendy looks up from her plate. What are you thinking? She asks. You smile. About Lily, you say. Wendy's eyes soften the way they always do at that name. Me too, she says. Lately. She meets your eyes. You hold the look for a moment. Something understood without words. Something decided without needing to say it yet. She looks back at her plate. You look back at yours. The morning light is warm. The tea is exactly right. The future is already beginning. Again, like it always does in a kitchen, over breakfast, between two people who chose each other, not because a photo told them to, because they paid attention, because they showed up, because every single day they turned toward each other instead of away. That's the whole story. That's all of it. And it's enough. More than enough. It's the best kind of life there is. Outside, the city is already moving. People and noise and the usual urgent rushing of ordinary days. In here, eggs, tea, a Tuesday, love. The small and enormous architecture of everything that matters. Wendy gets up to clear her plate. She pauses at the kitchen doorway. She turns back. She looks at you one more time. Hey Ethan, she says. You look up. She smiles. Not the polished one. Not the guarded one. The real one. Yours. I'm glad you showed up, she says. That day, at the school, with the family photo and the impossible story. You look at her across the kitchen. Me too, you say. Every day since. Me too. She nods. She goes to rinse her plate. You sit with your tea and the morning light and the whole long beautiful rest of it. This is what Lily came to give you. Not just each other but the knowledge that it was worth it. All of it, every step. The patience, the 2-hour drives, the bench facing east, the tea left on your desk, the sign with letters too big for the sign. All of it, everything, the whole, impossible, ordinary, completely extraordinary story. Worth it. You always will have chosen this. Past tense and future tense, at once. Already true, already done, and somewhere in a house that doesn't exist. Quite. Yet, a little girl in a blue jacket is already laughing. She has your eyes, and Wendy's calm, and both your stubborn hearts. She's 4 years old and entirely certain the universe is hers. She's not wrong. She got it from both of you. And you got to her by simply not giving up. That's the whole thing. Start, show up, stay. Love someone carefully and completely and then do it again tomorrow. And one day on a Tuesday or a Saturday or a morning with no particular plans, you'll realize the future already arrived. It came quietly, the way all the best things do. Not in a photo, not in a flash. In a life. In yours. Wendy comes back to the table. She sits. She pours the last of the tea into your cup without asking. Right temperature still. She always knows. You look at her. You think, this. Every day. Yes. This. She looks back at you. She seems to agree. No words. Just the morning. Just the two of you. And all the life already lived. And all the life ahead. And the specific, irreplaceable, once in the universe fact of her. You will not take a single morning for granted. You know what it cost to get here. You know what it's worth. Outside, the city moves on. The day begins. In here, you are still. You are home. You are exactly enough. You pick up your tea. She picks up hers. You drink. Simple, warm, perfect. The whole future in one cup. This is Ethan and Wendy. This is how they started. A photo, a girl, a knock on a gate, a cup of tea, and then showing up. And showing up again. And again. And again. Until it became the rest of their lives. Someday Lily will come back, as she was small and certain. Arriving out of nowhere, changing everything in an afternoon, and they'll look at her with the particular pride of people who already know exactly how the story goes, and they'll hold her between them, one on each side, and she'll grin like she always does, like she absolutely planned every bit of it. Because she did. She always did. That's Lily, 4 years old and the architect of everything worth having. She knew exactly what she was doing. She found her dad on a sidewalk. She found her mom outside of school. She held their hands and swung herself between them and said, "Here, this is where I come from. This is what I need you to build." And they built it, day by day, cup by cup, hand by hand, morning by morning. They built the thing she came from, and it was worth every single step of the way. Now, it is evening. Wendy is on the couch with a book. You are making dinner. The apartment smells like garlic and good things. She calls from the couch. "How long?" 20 minutes, you say. "Okay," she says. You hear a page turn. You smile. The kitchen is warm. The light is low. Somewhere in the city, Jake is texting something probably foolish. Linda is probably baking something. Helen is probably calling Sophie. Sophie is probably talking too loud in some coffee shop. And here in this apartment, in this kitchen, in this life you grew from a single impossible Tuesday, you are making dinner. And Wendy is on the couch. And everything is ordinary and extraordinary all at once. You turn down the heat, you wipe your hands, you walk to the living room doorway and lean against it. She's reading, legs folded under her, book tilted toward the lamp, completely absorbed. She hasn't heard you. You watch her for a moment, just a moment, long enough to let it settle in again. Here, this, yes. She looks up, catches you watching. She doesn't ask what. She just smiles. You smile back. Dinner's almost ready, you say. Good, she says. I'm hungry. She goes back to her book. You go back to the kitchen. A year later, Wendy tells you she's expecting. She says it simply, in the kitchen on a morning just like this one. You go completely still, then you sit down, then you look at her. She's watching you carefully. Hey, she says. It's okay. You nod. I know, you say. Better than okay, she says. Completely, you say. You stand up, you hold her for a long time. Neither of you says anything for a while. You don't need to. Eventually she says, I wonder if she'll have the pinky. You laugh into her hair. She will, you say. Obviously, she will. Months pass. The apartment shifts to make room a crib in the corner. Books move to make space for something else. Linda and Helen come over weekly to help. Sophie comes too, under the pretense of being useful, mostly to visit. Jake shows up with things he bought based on no research. It seemed right, he says each time. It rarely is. You keep it all. Wendy is calm through most of it, organized, certain, making lists and checking them in her precise and methodical way. She worries about getting it right. You tell her, we already know she's okay, we already know she's happy. That was the future we saw, Wendy says. This is now. Then we build it now, you say, the same way we built everything else. She leans against you. Showing up, she says. Showing up, you confirm. Every day. She nods. Every day. One morning you're standing in the kitchen when Wendy calls from the other room. Ethan, I think it's time. You go still, then you move fast, precise, everything ready, the bag, the car, the drive. You've thought about this day for years, and now it's here, and it's completely different than imagined, and completely right. Real things always are. Hours later. The room is quiet in the aftermath of something huge. Wendy is there. You are there, and so is she. Lily, your Lily, with a crooked pinky finger, already somehow confident, already exactly herself. You hold her for the first time, you look at her face, you recognize her completely, like you've always known her, because you have. She found you first. She came to you on a sidewalk in a blue jacket and called you Dad. She told you everything you needed to know. Now here she is, brand new, beginning, arriving again. Wendy reaches out. You place Lily in her arms. Wendy looks down at her with an expression you've never seen before. Something beyond love. Something made of time and patience and every morning you spent building toward this one. Hi, Lily, Wendy says softly. The baby's eyes find her face. Somehow, even now she seems to already know. You sit beside them. The room is quiet. Everything that was promised has arrived. She's here, Wendy says. She's really here. She was always coming, you say. We just had to be ready. Wendy looks at you over Lily's head. Were you ready? She asks. You look at your daughter. You look at the woman who chose you back. You think about a photo, a sidewalk, a cup of tea at the right temperature. You think about every small, certain, deliberate step that led from there to here, from that sidewalk to this room. Yes, you say. I've been ready since she found me. Wendy smiles. That smile. Still yours. Always yours. Lily makes a small sound. Both of you look down. She's perfectly fine. She just wanted attention. Already, you and Wendy look at each other. You laugh, both of you. The same laugh. At the same moment, about the same thing. She gets that from somewhere, Wendy says. You raise your hands. Both of us, you admit. Equally. The room fills with the particular warmth of something true finally, completely, perfectly arrived.